Welcome to the Prospect Warehouse podcast. This is your host, Tim Kanak. You can find me on X at Fantasy Aceball. And we got a boy, Doc Eisenhower, back after a week off for the old birthday. Good old birthday week off there for Doc. What'd you do?
I went to Tombstone, Arizona, where they got Doc Holiday stuff everywhere. So it's it just kind of feels like I'm fitting right in. I was drinking whiskey, smoking cigars, watching Western movies with old pals. It was a good time, I say, a good time.
That's awesome. I have never been there, so only been to Arizona for the Grand Canyon. Really, that's about it.
No, it's worth checking out, man. It's like they have the old wooden boardwalks. Like it is an old West town still. It's not, and it's there's one one little baby strip is touristy, but it's like it's the fun, you don't see it often kind of touristy. I want to see the touristy.
Yeah.
I don't want to actually get murdered. I want to feel like I could. I don't actually want to have like poison in my whiskey or like dysentery in my water. It's like I want to just like feel like there could be that chance. Although I did go there once, and there was a guy walking around with like a hook for a hand, like, and he was a real dude. Like, yeah, no, it is kind of like out there. It's near the border. Like it's kind of random.
So a real hook, not like a costume hook.
No, this guy had like a T-shirt on and a baseball cap. Like he was just like ripping a whatever, like an Old Native or something like that.
Don't they have like claws, or like it's like more mechanical than just a hook?
Yeah, but right? Definitely if a guy was like lost his hand and he lived in Tombstone, he'd go for the hook. Some of these guys are out there.
Well, you could go for the sword, like in Ash. Evil Dead. Go for the chainsaw. So anyway, we are going to talk about some prospects today, I promise. So we talked about relief pitchers this week, and relief pitchers for prospects, it's no fun, no bueno. So we're just going to skip right past that. We did our relief pitcher podcast with John earlier in the week. And what we're going to do is we're going to dig into my top 150. So what we did is we looked at between 150 to 100, and we each picked a magnificent 7 that we want to talk about. So keep it on that cowboy theme for you here, Doc. Going with the magnificent. We each have a magnificent 7 within this 150 to 101 range. And keep in mind that this is my rankings, not Doc's. So Doc might have some of these guys he wants to talk about, like in the his top 100, which he can kind of clue us in on as we're going. But what we're going to do is I'm going to just give you the names of the guys, and then we're going to talk about each of our dig into the magnificent 7 for each of us. So number 150 in my rankings is Henry Bolte with the Athletics. Speedy dude. 149, Braylon Payne with the Brewers, so 2 outfielders. And 148, this is my first of my magnificent 7. It is Kalai Rosario with the Twins. And I wanted to talk about him. I kind of picked my 7 here, Doc, because I feel like I am higher on some of these guys than a lot of other people in the prospect world. And I just picked Kalai Rosario like really deep in this MLB data warehouse draft that we're doing. And I was like, this is definitely a dude I want to talk about here because I feel like everyone's kind of down on him. Power and speed, 25 home runs and 32 steals this year is pretty ridiculous. 150 extra base hit plus. The contact rates are in the low 70s. So it's like, there's not the best hit tool here, but with that power speed combination for a dude who spent the whole year in AA and put up a 25-30 season, I feel like there should be more steam behind him, right? My comp from is Hawaiian Austin Hayes. So I don't think he's going to be like a superstar by any means, but I think he should be a pretty solid player. And the Twins traded a lot of dudes. So it's like, there's a very good chance that he's up in the majors this year and maybe could be like a little bit of an Eddie Rosario type for them. What do you think about Kalai Rosario?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like what's the deal? Can you give me the rhyme or reason? I'm okay. I see in 2024 he struggled at
switch to TurboTax.
AA. What is that? You switch to TurboTax?
Yeah, YouTube.
Throwing off my rhyme or reason here.
Well, it's because John didn't buy me a YouTube upgrade yet. Like,
what are we doing here? I'm trying to figure out what the lack of hype is around him, but I guess he kind of just came out of nowhere. Yeah, I mean, the steals definitely came out of nowhere looking in his past because it's like 25-32. Striking out a little too much, but walking a good amount, making acceptable contact rates. I don't know. It seems like I think I'm there with you. Kalai Rosario, is he Hawaiian or something? I don't know.
Oh yeah, Yeah, dude, with that name, that makes him
Oh
even
yeah,
more fun too, by the way.
look you go.
And
See, there you go.
yeah, and he's got some killer EVs too. So he gets up to like 114. I think his max is like 114 or 115. So he hits the ball really hard. It's not like he's like walking into home runs. Like he's always hit the ball pretty hard. 90th around like 105, 106. So he's got some good EVs. Now, like you mentioned, the speed. I don't know, like how long that will stick around in the majors, but you might get, you might have 2020 in the majors if he can figure out the hit tool.
Yeah, no, underrated for sure. The fact, and I mean, it seems like you even got him a little underrated here with all that considered. And he's like a borderline top 100 prospect. It's just like, can he do it again? I guess is the question.
Yeah, for sure. Look, he's even got the Samoan tats going. He's got it all. He's got the straight Hawaii thing going here.
What's the difference between Hawaiian and Samoan?
Samoans, I think Samoans are not only in Hawaii. I think they're also in like other islands in the
Samoa.
Pacific. Samoa, maybe. Is Samoa a real island?
I don't know, man.
I don't know, dude. My geography when it comes to the Far East is like terrible. If you show me a country, a map of Europe, I'll pick every single country on there. But if you show me a map of like the Philippines and stuff, like the only one I know is Australia, dude.
Okay, it's a Polynesian society with a population of approximately 60,000 people, 2,000 miles southwest of Hawaii. It's a Samoan archipelago. Yeah, it's like, dude, and they coming down, just like say it's a bunch of islands.
I'll tell you what, though. There is a spice in Hawaii called Kanakatak. So, like, basically every time anyone I know goes to Hawaii, they see it and they send me a picture of it or they buy it. So if you go to Hawaii, look for Kanakatak because that is a okay. Let's get to the next guy on our list here. So we have Tamar Johnson is my number 147. And then your first of your Magnificent Seven within these rankings is Moises Ballesteros at 146. Talk about Big Mo.
Yeah, I mean, I think he needs to be a top 100 fantasy prospect for sure. Like he's probably going to get, I mean, I don't know if you saw this, but he was spoken of highly by a council there saying, he's basically going to be helping this team this year. They're going to find at bats for him. They're saying they're going to find at bats for him because that's what you have to do. His defense is weird. Like he's just not a great defender at basically any position. He's got a weird build. He's like a bowling ball. He likes to be called the Venezuelan bowling ball. That's what he likes to be called. He's really? Five, I don't know, probably 5'7", 220. This guy's he's just but he's like no joke. That's why when people talk about height in baseball, I'm like, it doesn't really matter as long as you're thick. As long as you got those thick EVs and you got that thick biceps, and he does. He's got good bat speed. His EVs actually weren't crazy good in the majors last year, but he had a 298 batting average and a 394 OBP. That'll play. He doesn't strike out, walks a lot. It's a 66 plate appearance sample size, not tremendously small, but like, here's the thing. Someone got on me the other day, right? They're like, oh, how come you're knocking? How come you're giving Dax Kilby a bump up for his hot small start, and you're not docking Ethan Holiday for his slow, sample size, small sample size. I'm like, because I'm not going to panic. Panic is the problem, right? I'm going to recognize, oh, you're doing something positive that I didn't know you could do. Okay, that's like worth noting. But if I think a guy's already good and has like a little slump, well, yeah, baseball's full of slumps. Or if he's got growing to do, it's not like one side or the other. You have, it's a one-way street. Yeah. And so Moises Ballesteros, with him, yeah, it's just, can he get at bats as a designated hitter? How old is he? 22 years old. You don't see a lot of 22-year-old designated hitters, but it says a lot that this contending team is considering and actively campaigning for him to get at bats at this age. So what's the profile? I mean, it might not be super sexy, but maybe it's very easy. Everyone says this one. Peak Pablo Sandoval.
Yeah, that's what I said. But Yeah, definitely a weird dude. And we saw in the video, if you're watching on X Vision, I bet that guy can smash if he's playing in beer league baseball. Like he looks like he should be like the king of the beer league. It's what he looks like to me. So we're gonna keep moving here past Moises Ballesteros. 145 is Blake Mitchell. That's a guy I know you really like too.
I had him highlighted. I just briefly say that don't give up on him yet. He's got the pedigree. He matches baseballs. People are giving up on him. Goodbye low moment. Honestly, shout out for even having him in your 150. I'm sure some people don't even have him there.
Yeah, probably not. He had a good fall league. So, for you fall league people out there, 144, we've got Kason Cunningham, who was drafted big time hit tool. And then 143, here's another Doc guy. It is Kemp Alderman with the Miami Marlins.
Here I thought you were there with me, man, but you don't have him in your top 100, despite him being on the verge of the big leagues and just having absurd EVs, man. This guy has, you look at fan graphs, they're saying he's got 80 raw power, and I believe it. This could be a Jake Burger kind of fantasy output, but better, which is good because like we're all like, hey, Jake Burger, could you be just a little better? Just a little better, and you're on way more fantasy rosters.
Wait, look at him. Wait, look at his stance right there. Might come from his righty Jock Peterson. Watch him hit. He looks exactly like look at him. He looks like freaking Jock Peterson.
Yeah, but he's not fat yet.
Watch, look at that. Yeah, he's not fat yet. But yeah, when he has the same exact mechanics as Jock Peterson, except he's a righty. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, but he can, and that's the nice thing with him. So defense does matter a little, right? That's the biggest question mark. If Ballesteros was a catcher full time, I'd be way more psyched up. And we're still psyched up because that's how good the bat is. But with Alderman, he's not just like some sluggo DH type. He's got a cannon for an arm. He used to play catcher. He's probably going to be an asset in right field one day. And it'll be. I mean, I guess if he got a strong arm, I don't think they've played him at third, but maybe you could try him there one day if you feel like it. But anyway, Alderman is a guy who could hit 30 or more, I think, in the big leagues and give you like a 260-ish average, 320 OBP. That'll play.
Yeah, the reason I don't have him higher is like there's definitely like hit tool concerns there. I mean, like he's
maybe really 250, not 260. Let's say 250.
Yeah, he hit 285 last year, so that's really good. But the year before, he only hit 242. So definitely he was better last year than he ever has been before. But low 70s contact rates. So it's like, okay, what is he going to do in the majors then? Like high 60s, maybe is what he's going to be looking at. Like 60. Like I think that when I did my correlation tables, when a guy has a 75, for example, contact rate, it drops down to like a 72 when he gets to the majors. So it's like a 3% roughly decrease from majors to minors. But yeah, I think like 240 batting average, pretty realistic, especially he's a righty. So
it's the thing you have to weigh out. I agree with what you're saying that there's typically a drop off, but there's also the balancing factor of he's improving, right? If you look at his contact rates earlier in his in the minor leagues here, he was way worse when he first started. He had a 30% strikeout rate and barely taking walks. I mean, even less walks, doesn't take a lot now. But when he first got in, low A, right? But he's way better at a higher level. Like he will improve some too. So I think that you're right. Like there's gonna be some drop off probably. 260 was probably. I'm a little bit tired again, but 260 a little aggressive, but I don't think it's unbelievable either because he seems like he's really the quality of contact he makes is so good that he could. I think he turn a few make a few usually routine plays a little bit trickier for infielders.
Yeah, for sure. Next on the list is 142, Marconi Herman with the National shortstop DSL guy. 141, Yadher Arenamo with the Tampa Bay Rays, second baseman here. I'm going to throw some video up, but it's playing another commercial, so I'm not going to make you watch that crap. But what we're gonna talk about with Arenamo is I think he's like super underrated. F scores really pop for this guy. I know he's short. He's like 5'8", 160 or whatever, but he's a second baseman. You don't have to be big to be a good middle infielder. This guy can freaking hit. He's got some power. He's got some speed. He's kind of like a do-it-all. Like he's almost like a mini version of Michael Arroyo. He's like your poor man's Michael Arroyo to me. I actually comped him to Justin Turner was my comp for him. But a 103 power F score, 107 hit, 110 discipline, 106 speed. So just like really solid player across the board. He had a 150 extra base hit plus too. So a lot of doubles, 49 extra base hits for this little dude last year is pretty solid. That's including 15 homers and some steals. So Aaron Amo, 23 steals. So I think he's a really underrated player here. Like he could be 15-15 or 20-20 guy in the majors. Obviously, like it depends. Are the Rays going to like play him? How slow are they going to promote him? Whatever. It's the Rays, but he wasn't AA last year. So 21-year-old in AA last year should kind of be, AAA this year, 22-year-old. And they traded Brandon Lau. So it's like, who's blocking him at second right now? What do you think about Aaron Amo?
What's his real size? He's still 5'8", 160. Is that accurate, you think?
I'd say his weight looks bigger than that just from like looking at him on video. This is a player I've never seen in person, so I can't tell you if, the height is accurate. He doesn't look like Altuve short to me. He looks like maybe he is 5'7" or 5'8" actually. But you could see he's I feel like he's got more meat than 160.
Yeah, I'm trying to just look at him here. I'm trying to catch up. Not super familiar with his profile, but watching him, he looks taller. Wait, no, he's stealing base here. Okay. I was like, who's this tall guy? I was like, yeah. Is he at bat?
Yeah.
He doesn't look that short. I want to know how big he is. No, that's not his highlight.
No, there he is running. Yeah.
Dude.
There he is. Yeah, he does look bigger, but look at that.
Nice. He's not 160 there. That's a guarantee.
Yeah, for sure.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, he looks a little bit like Ballesteros almost. He looks kind of chunky. So that's probably how he's getting to more power, unless he's put on a lot more weight. So yeah, this is why you gotta use your eyes, folks, especially with these foreign imports. You got 160, but he looks like he's closer to 200 pounds there. So you could still be 5'8"-ish. Doesn't really matter. Again, I'm more concerned, do you have that meat on your bones? Like, are these home runs real? And look at the numbers there, right? It goes from a 1 home run to 4 home runs to that's exactly what happens. So he's 160 pounds, so 1 home run, and then 4 home runs, and then 10 home runs, and now we're up to all the way to 15. So that's what happens. Now the steals have gone down a little bit, so maybe that's he's going to lose a little bit of speed. But yeah, this is like an under the radar guy who just never strikes out. Doesn't really take a ton of walks, but as someone who wasn't really on my radar. Maybe because he's got a hard name to remember, dude. That's like someone just threw some words together, letters together. No offense, big guy.
It's like Japanese Mr. Arenamo. But he's I like this dude a lot. I'll see if I see him this spring. I'll try to like take a picture of him standing next to someone so I can get a better judge of his height.
It almost doesn't matter. Yeah, I mean he's obviously just so much beefier.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for sure. All right, next on the list, we're going to go Ray to Ray here because you have Aiden Smith on your list. So Aiden Smith at 141 with the Rays. I know you're really high on him. So like, is he top 100 for you, or is he kind of like just higher for you than 1?
I mean, bro, I had him top 50 in the past. I'm working on I'm actually going to try to get some ranks out before the year starts. I did my FYPD ranks recently. That was the closest thing I've had to that for a while. I got the bug. I'm trying to post a little bit more. So, I just think people way overreacted. I know he was in a lot of top 50s. He was a lot of top 100s. I think he was on everyone's top 100 last year coming into the season. Mm-hmm. That wasn't the way you wanted to go with a 31% strikeout rate. Obviously, that's rough. But, I mean, tell me it's like really disappointing when you have 14 home runs and 41 stolen bases. That's the second consecutive 41 stolen base season. Like the speed is unbelievably real. He's taken a lot of walks. And it's just, let me see the contact rates here. It's okay. 70%. Before that, it was better. Obviously at low A, it was 79% and 74%. But here's something that I'm not sure if you picked up on, but he had his vision corrected surgically. He had LASIK done. He had some bad. Apparently, he was having a hard time seeing last year. I mean, that's the thing, right? So you can tell someone that they're like, oh, how do I know what that's going to do? All I can see is the numbers in front of me. Some data loyalists will just look at the numbers and be like, that's all I can see. I don't know what that's actually going to do anything. I'm like, well, I have a brain and I can think that.
Tommy Pham. It seemed to help Tommy Pham.
Yeah. So, and this is a kid starting his career. So, it's interesting. I actually, when I was playing football in high school, I had rough eyes, and I didn't even know I did. But I was playing well as a starting cornerback. I was defensive back, and in Canada they have to put the white guys out there. We didn't have enough at the time, enough alternatives. So, but I was fast, and so anyway, but I was pretty good. And then I realized I had bad eyes. I got diagnosed with eye disease, or bad vision, whatever they're calling it these days. And they said it's not even funny. That was terrible. That wasn't even, what am I saying here? But I put the contact lenses in, and I started messing up. I was like, I got benched in the middle of a game, throwing my helmet. I was like, what the frick? But yeah, so that's all to say. The applicable thing here is like he actually might go through a little bit of a struggle adjusting to it off the bat, but long term, way better. So yeah, I think we're gonna see him figure it out. And this is a guy who could end up going 15 to maybe 20 home runs one day, and 30 plus stolen bases at the very least with good OBP. Maybe maybe a 240, 330 like kind of profile. That's good, and people aren't really respecting that right now. They forgot about him. They forgot about Dre.
They did. Yeah, they forgot about Dan. Dan. But yeah,
we're on fire with the jokes tonight.
Yeah, big time. Well, I don't know. Maybe unless you really like the slow, dry humor, but that's kind of our specialty.
A lot of dry humor on this show.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I'm right there with you. I think he's a fun power speed combo. It's just about like consistency for him. Like, can he like nail down some consistency? I think because he's got like stretches where he's really good, and the stretches where he's just like, oh, you don't even want to look. 139, I got starting pitcher George Klassen. I'm a big fan of Klassen, but we've talked about him, I feel like, a couple times, and I don't want to that's a guy almost picks, but I'm like, I don't want to keep picking the same guys and talking about the same guys over and over. So big fan of him, especially for this year. I think there's, it's the Angels. There's a good shot that he gets some decent amount of playing time this year. 138, Brandon Summerhill, another Rays outfielder. 137, Harry Ford, now a Nationals catcher. 136, Kedry Chorio with the Royals, just came up from DSL all the way to low A. Probably will start again in low A, would be my guess. 135, Gage Stanifer with the Blue Jays, the two-pitch master. And then 134, Cash Mayfield. This is a guy that I'm going to be talking about. So I want to talk about Cash because I feel like nobody else talks about him. I think he's kind of underrated. First-round pick from the Padres, Preller dude here. And I like Cash a decent amount. F scores really like him too. 118 F stuff, 111 F control, 115 F ERA. And the problem with him is he's like a 3-pitch guy. Basically, he's got a fastball that taps out at 97 from the left side. He's got a really sick changeup, right? This is a Doc specialty because he's like a changeup first guy. And I feel like everybody hates changeup first guys except for Doc. But his changeup, I threw a 70 grade on. Like he's got a really good changeup. And then he's got a slider, which is it's classified as a slider, but I'm like, nah, man, that's like an old school slurve. That's like a straight up slurve. I'm going to throw some video of Cash up here while we're talking about him. But again, another commercial. Fun. There we go. Everybody buy a prospect package and tell me use this money to buy YouTube Tim. But there he is. Look at that. He's got kind of a low 3/4 thing going on with the arm angle here for Cash. We got some Vietnam Agent Orange in the background of some of these videos. So
shaking camera now too. Dropping water in there.
Yeah, I think that they're filming Apocalypse Now 2 at the same time that this game was occurring.
Dude, this guy's filming with a Motorola Razor. Remember those?
Yeah, I got like 6 pitches from him on that one. But yeah, I like Cash. I'm a big Cash guy. What do you think about him?
Yeah, I think he's underrated, especially like a name like that. He had a lot of buzz coming out of the draft. It's just so interesting how some names just kind of fade away and other guys get the hype. Almost no rhyme or reason. It's my favorite new catchphrase, apparently. Rhyme or reason. But yeah, Mayfield, he's been doing pretty well too. I mean, how old is he now? He's 20 years old, former first-round pick. Yeah, he may not end up being on the team as they seem to trade away every prospect they have. But yeah, he's got the frame. I'm looking at it, 2.97 ERA, 13 strikeouts per 9. He's walking like four guys per 9. The whip's not great, but it doesn't really there's nothing here that's freaking me out. Like he's looking really solid. at a low level, but like, he could ascend fast this year. I think he could end the year in Double-A. Then this is your buying moment, in my opinion, for Cash Mayfield. If you want in, he's pretty cheap right now. I've been getting him for like throw-ins, like as a throw-in in trades.
Yeah, he needs like one more pitch. If he got like a cutter, gyro slide, or whatever, you want to cut it to bridge a couple of his pitches together. That would be a boon. Or if he can figure out like a sinker too. Lefty sinkers are kind of cool. Nobody does lefty sinkers, but yeah, I like him. I think he's underrated. Preller's a really good scout, and in the past, maybe the Padres have not been the best at developing the pitchers that they select. But you can't say that like Mackenzie Gore and Robbie Snelling and all these guys suck, right?
Drew
Like,
Thorpe.
Yeah,
the story is not yet written, but you'll see.
Yeah, exactly. So next on the list, as we're watching some highlights here, we've got 133 Jack Wenninger. That's a guy that I've liked a lot. You almost picked him. 132 is Elmer Rodriguez Cruz. I think a lot of people have him as like a top 100 guy. I think there's a little too much hype around Elmer Rodriguez Cruz. I actually think he changed the name to just being Elmer Rodriguez now. I think he drops the Cruz. So, another E-Rod for you. But yeah, he's a Yankees pitching prospect with proximity. So, of course, he's going to get a ton of smoke behind him. But he's like a two-seam first guy. And pretty interesting. I think he's more like a ground ball guy. 131, TJ Nichols, another Ray. Tons of Rays in this little section here. And then 130. This is a guy we both like who was just drafted. This is one of your Magnificent Seven. That is starting pitcher Patrick Forbes with the Arizona Diamondbacks. Go ahead, Doc.
First of all, I feel like this like camera I have is like looking like I'm putting a filter on. Just so everyone knows there's no like beauty filter here. This is like some weird. The lighting is messing with my camera. It's so funny. I'm like looking to see her. Is this like got the what I'm talking about? Like the patch your image up kind of thing going. Yeah, I want to look a little bit more rugged here. I might have to change things up in the future. And for everyone,
you should do an old time. You should do a filter and do like the old like the old like yellow old time camera one.
Yeah.
Does it skip here? Can you put a filter that skips frames like like the original, like the old videos?
We'll have to figure that out. Speaking of baseball, our audio listeners are like, yeah, I'm done with this today. So Patrick Forbes, though, he's kind of this like, ball of clay, right? You want to mold him into something beautiful. He just became a full-time pitcher this last year, and yeah, 15 strike. I love that. Look, I'm looking at MLB Pipeline. Look at that. They say strikeouts per 9. Dude, they got to hire me. I'm old school, just like you guys. We're the only two left, me and Pipeline. But yeah, about 15 strikeouts per 9 here. No, it's just like it's an interesting guy. He's got this flame-throwing fastball, power slider. It's like the question is, will he be able to develop more pitches and be consistent? Like, we don't know. He hasn't been a starter that long. So I'm excited about him. I just got a good feeling. My gut says go for it. Worst case scenario, he's probably an electric closer or, high leverage reliever at least. So it's funny. Him and Riley Quick are completely different. There's like not a lot of similarities in their game, but you look at like the pros and the cons of going with them. Like they're going like they're almost always ranked side by side. It was such a tough call in one league, so I managed to divvy it up. I think I got Forbes in our league in the data warehouse league.
You did.
And I did, yeah. And I specifically I was like, if I had to pick him in one league and not get him in the others, it's this one because we're using K9 and he's going to strike a lot of guys out. So if you like strikeouts, this is your guy. And again, like I'm talking about worst case scenarios. His best case scenario is a frontline starter with like unbelievable. This is a guy who has that potential. His strikeout stuff is so crazy good that if he's focusing, he was a two-way player before. I got to mention that, folks. He was a two-way player before. So now he's taking, imagine you took half your day, whatever you do, whatever time you spent on things you don't like doing. Now you got to spend it all on things you do like doing. You're going to get better at it. So watch out. Patrick Forbes, I think he's going to rise kind of fast.
Yeah, I think he's one of the most underrated people in the first-year player drafts right now. He's got such ridiculous stuff. He throws 100 miles an hour. He's got a ridiculous sweeper, too. 5 pitches. He's got fastball, sweeper, sinker, cutter, change. So 5 pitches, pretty fun here for, like you said, he's a ball of clay because he's not fully formed since he was playing, both out in the field and
that's
pitching.
When you buy.
Yeah, the dude throws 100. This is...
Look at Lance. He's got that beauty light going. He's got that beauty filter going. We gotta go.
Oh, yeah.
Me and him gotta do a podcast freaking just called the Aryan Brothers, man. Just get it going.
I left that up there just for you. Yeah, it's like my kid.
I'll get. Wait till I'm gonna go. No one knows this. I'm gonna be hanging out with Tim in Miami next week, in theory, as long as he doesn't avoid me. We'll see. I'll hop in the ocean and get the salt brightening up this once blonde hair.
Miami. You're going to Miami Junior, Fort Lauderdale, or as we call it, White Miami.
Yeah. No, I'll be spending some time in Miami, but for work. But there'll be I'll be hanging out in Fort Lauderdale. It's just the way it worked out.
Yeah, Fort Lauderdale. 129 is Fort Lauderdale. We ha. Another Hawaiian here. We Haiwa Aloy with the Orioles. The Golden Spikes winner. I can't even say his first name. Shortstop 128. Johnny King. I can say that. Johnny King.
Johnny King.
Yeah,
it's like the Mortal Kombat guy. Johnny Cage. Johnny King. I almost wanted to talk about him. He's got so much upside, but he's got a long road ahead of him. We'll see what happens with the Jays in terms of what they do. In fact, they might end up just trading him away, since they're on this cup run. That's what the Canadians would call it. They're on this. They call it a Stanley Cup, in case you didn't pick up on that hockey term. They're going on a cup run, that's what they'd say. So they're going on their cup run. They might end up trading a prospect like him who's far away, right?
Yeah, grow your playoff beard. Great, get your playoff beard ready. 127, Wandy Alcigan, who I actually really like personally because he spurned the Yankees at the last second. Like, he for years was going to sign with the Yankees, and the last minute he signed with the Mets. So that's kind of hilarious.
Wow, that's a good choice.
Yeah, you want to go within the Mets in your free agency period. You don't want to go now. You want to wait. You want to wait until they're going to spend some money on you here. 126 is Ava Arquette. I'm definitely down on him compared to other people in the industry. Shortstop with the Marlins. And 125, Dante Nori. This is a dude that I'm going to talk about here. Nori's fun. I might be the highest guy on him, which is why I put him here, because he's got a really good hit tool. He's got a good plate approach, and he's got speed. There's not power here. He had a 81 extra base hit plus, and he had a 100.7 90th percentile EV. But I don't really care because his hit tool is awesome, and he also has stole a bunch of bags. So let me bring it up here as I'm multitasking. 52 steals in 2025. And Doc, he had a 83% contact rate with a 91% zone contact rate. So we're talking plus hit tool here. I put a 55 out of 65 on the hit. And then he gets on base, a 13.3% walk rate with only a 14% K rate. And for a speedy guy who steals bags, you just want a guy who's going to get on base. So this guy walks and he hits and he steals bags. It's like it could be Chandler Simpson with walks here with Dante Nori. And not to mention, he's a fun little Italian guy too. I feel like this is your type because he's like a little fire hydrant-y, 5'9", 5'9". Get this, 5'9", 190 pounds for Nori. So he's a bit of a fire hydrant here. I'm going to throw some video up on him.
Fire hydrant, I like that. Yeah, I'm not totally in, just because we got to see more, because he stole 37 of those bases last year at low A as a 20-year-old. So doesn't mean not worth anything. It still means something, but we'll see. And again, that's with the power, right? So if all 4 home runs happen at low A as a 20-year-old and seem to disappear after that. The thing I've always liked about Durbin is that he was starting to grow in his power. And then people didn't believe me. They're like, he's never going to hit 10 in the bigs. So I'm like, maybe one day he immediately did it. I'm like, nice. Thank you. But, and again, Nori could develop. He's 21 now. He'll spend the entirety of the season pretty much. Yeah. With the, as a 21-year-old, but yeah, he needs to have a bigger challenge here and see what he can do. Cause if he has a 50 stolen base guy, yeah, no, that's got a spot. That's got a place. I like those old school guys who just play good defense. I don't know how his defense actually is. It says it's good. Okay. But plays good defense, gets on base, scores a bunch of runs, just old school. But, in fantasy, if you're going to not have basically any power, like 5 home runs or less, you got to do everything right. You can't be like a 20 stolen base guy is not as interesting with that profile. So we'll see what he is.
Yeah, for sure. I think that the Phillies are going to need a guy like this because their core is so old. But it's going to be weird because they're going to have like Nori and Justin Crawford. Like, what are you going to do with like two super speed guys? Right? What do you do with that? Is it on like a team build? Are you going to have both those guys lead off and you're just going to be like double stealing like as if you're playing like a
Nori's a 9 hitter, so don't worry about that.
No, dude, his hit tool is so good. Are you kidding me? You don't hit a guy who can hit like 280. You don't have.
So philosophically, you could put him at the 9. It's nice. He comes around. He's on base for the top of your lineup again.
That's the old Tony La Russa strategy right there. Yeah. That's what I call that. So that's Dante Nori at 125. 124 is Didier Fuentes with the Braves. Debuted at 19 years old as a starter. The youngest start of. I'm pretty sure that was the youngest start of all time. 123 is Luis Hernandez, the top international guy, signed with the Giants. I guess I should say arguably the top international guy. 122, Chris Rodriguez. I almost picked him. Just like a monster of a human, huge power hitter, outfielder for the Tigers, DSL only. So reason I didn't pick him is I was like, the video is going to suck. 121, Alien Pena with the Mets, shortstop. Number 120, Daniel Ortiz with the Cardinals. I love Daniel Ortiz, but I talked about him, I think, the last 2 podcasts. So it's like prospect podcasts. So it's like I don't really want to have to bring him up again. 119, we've got Connor Prelip, starting pitcher for the Twins, could debut this year. 118, David Hageman with the Diamondbacks. I picked him in our MLB Data Warehouse, the MLB Data Warehouse draft. 117, Mick Abel with the Twins, so another Twins starter who should play a lot this year. 116 is Ike Irish with the Orioles. Auburn catcher who is now going to be an outfielder with the Orioles. And 115, finally, one of the Magnificent Seven. We just went through a whole stretch of guys we didn't want to pick. We've got Tommy Troy here with the Diamondbacks, Doc. So talk about Tommy.
He came in with some hype as a high floor, maybe low ceiling, but high floor kind of guy. Does everything all around just right. And when those guys tank or something bad happens with them, they fall off the map real quick. It's understandable. It's kind of like Braden Taylor. It's supposed to be his deal, and everything. It's like, oh shoot. He doesn't have to have that floor, right? How's he going to have a ceiling? Can't even hit that, the high floor is gone. Now it's like a low floor, actually. Low floor, low ceiling. Ooh, not sexy. But Tommy Troy is like bouncing back. He's back to kind of where he was at, which is really nice. I love redemption. Redemption arcs are the best thing about baseball. 15 home runs, 24 stolen bases last year. Finally seeing that power we thought could be there. He had flashed the speed a little before. Pretty efficient too, 24 stolen bags, 5 caught. Good. You'll get the green light. This is a real fit. And I remember thinking he's probably a 15 home run, 25 stolen bag guy. And that's pretty much what he did last year. His contact rates improved as well. So this is a guy who I think is going to be, as of right now, is looking safer than Jordan Lawlar, right? And he can play up the middle. We'll see. I mean, just that team is, I feel like you can plug him in a bunch of different places. He'll make it work. But he's a classic. He's a classic Diamondback right now.
They just traded Blaze Alexander, so there's room for someone.
He'll be up this year.
Yeah, that says that Lawlar or Troy are both going to get some playing time. Maybe Brian Waldschmidt will get some more playing time now that they traded him. So that's some good news, I guess, if you're a fan of these Diamondbacks prospects here. But how do you feel about 2 first names, Doc?
I like them a lot. It's the most important thing about baseball, if you have a good baseball name. And so 2 first names checks that box for me. I didn't even talk about the back of the baseball card, man. He had a 289 average and 382 OBP. I'm falling off, man. Look at me. But yeah, he basically never he doesn't strike out and he walks. Like it's just 2 first names. We're set. Tommy Troy, underrated. I recommend actually going out and seeing where you can get him. He's not like a super sexy acquisition right now, but it's like, it makes sense. He's back to where we thought he'd be. He should be in your top 100.
Yeah, his birthday is in January, so proximity to 9/11 is not good.
Yeah, that was the other podcast, man. We're not doing that anymore. Now it's sad again.
114.
The other podcast, Tim kept making these 9/11 jokes. It was insane.
Oh, that was you, sir. That was you. The at the end when you got John, that was hilarious. That made me laugh. 114 Jefferson Rojas with shortstop with the Cubs. 113 Johnny Level, shortstop with the Giants. So a couple young shortstops. Jefferson Rojas playing at like way above age level. So if you look at the back of the baseball card, it may not be the prettiest, but the dude was like 20 hit AA most of the year. So it's almost like Cole Young 2.0 here with Jefferson Rojas. 112, Joseph Sullivan. I left him for you. We both liked Sullivan. I've probably have him higher than a lot of people, but I think you have him higher than everybody. So why don't you talk about Joseph Sullivan here?
Yeah, I mean, if he had just not completely imploded at the end of the season, I had said at one point he looked like he was a top 20 prospect. When you're in season, you can say something like that. He looks like a top 20 prospect. Now, if you have like 100 at bats left and he basically goes over 100, it's like, okay, well, now you're not. Like, right? Especially when it's your first year in pro ball. And people are just really relentless on this guy. Like, he's 22. What the heck? It's over for him. He's 23 now. But yeah, he's 23 now. Oh, gosh, what's he gonna? He's not gonna be able to do anything. Like, well, he was coming in as this defense first, maybe stealing some bags, a little speedy kind of guy. And then he went to the combine and ripped off all these high EVs. And he gave us 17 home runs last year. So I think people have said, oh well, his high A park was really hitter friendly. I'm like, it doesn't matter. Like we saw in the combine, he's actually able to do the EVs. Like, it's not complete. Also, not everyone's doing it there, right? Not everyone's going to that part. What are his teammates doing? Probably not 15 home runs in 75 games. And again, yeah, he was a little bit older, but it's not like he was around forever and just can't get the promotion, right? It was his first year in pro ball. So yeah, it'll be his second year in pro ball and he'll start at AA. It's a great place to be. Although his batting average has been not great, 220 last year, really went down in AA. His OBP is phenomenal. Like, he's just taking too many walks is what it is, right? He just needs to balance that approach out because there's something there. This is not a guy who's completely lost at the plate. It's just someone who needs to refine the approach just a little bit, trade off some OBP for some average, and use that power, right? Get to it more. And yeah, I guess I forgot the key part here. 42 stolen bases last year. He's a real guy who, is when Connor Griffin was popping off. I'm like, who could be our next guy? And I'm like, ooh, well, I mean, it looks like there's 20 plus home runs here. It looks like there's 30 plus stolen bases here. Yeah, probably not a Connor Griffin type, but if you're looking for a category juice kind of guy, like Joseph Sullivan, because of his, flop to the end of the year, you can still get in on him. I looked at his roster percentage on Fantrax. It's not very good. It's like no one's really buying it. And except for our data warehouse where he went like way too soon. I was like, what are you doing? Come on. So let me get him 5 rounds from now. Jerks.
Yeah. One thing to look for if you're prospecting, here's a tip to show you a little magic behind the scenes. If a dude has good contact rates, but then a really high K rate, something's weird. You're like, okay, something can be correctable. Usually when you see that, it means that the guy is just not swinging enough and getting called out on a ton of like 2-strike called strikes, where maybe the guy even has a better, especially this guy, 20% walk rate. It's possible that he has a better eye than the umps in the minors. And he's like, that's a ball, and just doesn't swing. And then they call it a strike. And he has such a good eye that like he knows it's a ball, but the ump doesn't. So it's like, like ABS, once he gets up to AAA, he'll be able to play with the ABS a little bit and might be able to help him there. But especially with the smaller strike zone, it'll be interesting to see how he plays at AAA. He should probably swing more. But yeah, if you see a guy with good contact rates, but then a low batting average and a lot of Ks, it's usually you're like, okay, this is just like an approach thing that is easily correctable. It's not that his hit tool sucks, which like that's the fear when you see a low batting average, right? If you see a guy with a 200, 220 average, you're like, oh, that guy must have like a Spencer Jonesian 56% contact rate or whatever. But when you then you see it, it's like, oh, 74, 75. That's normal. Like, what's happening here? It just means like it's called strikes or whatever. So a little tip off.
Oh yeah, his grandfather won the Heisman. I like to throw that one out there. John would love that one. John would love that one. Yeah, his grandfather from Alabama, I think, he won the football Heisman Trophy once. So there's athleticism in the blood.
Yes, bloodlines, baby. We got 111 Jefferson Caro, who is a catcher. And back like a year ago, I was like, who's going to make it first, Jefferson Caro or Edgar Caro? And then he gets hurt and misses like the whole season. It's like, oh, okay, never mind. 110 Owen Casey, now with the Marlins. Don't play me against lefties, Owen Casey, now at the Marlins. 109 Esmerlin Valdez with the Pirates, Arizona Fall League darling, I guess. I don't know if people have him in the top 100. Probably.
I was almost going to talk about him, but you limited me to 7, so he got the snips.
He got the axe. 108. This is a guy that should be probably talked about more than nobody talks about is David Davalillo. Davalillo's awesome. Like 2024, he led all of baseball in ERA, which I mean, like minor league ERA, it's like whatever. But then I think last year he was like top 3 again. So it's like do it once, okay. Oh, it's ERA, minor leagues, whatever. Who cares? But if you're like a leader in ERA in consecutive seasons in the minors, that actually means something.
Yeah,
it means that like guys just can't square his crap up. Basically, is like what's going on there. 107. This is a Tim guy. It is Dason Hill with the Twins. Dason Hill is a dude that I saw. So fun enough, I actually saw his debut. And I think I've got video somewhere on my YouTube of that. So if you want to check that out, that's kind of fun. Some Dason Hill reps in Jupiter when I was checking him out. But I'm trying to pull up some video here. This is a lefty, throws really hard, like a second or third rounder or something like that. So there he is. Boom. Super skinny, you can see. But he's got a ton of good stuff. So Dason Hill, I'm going to bring up his pitches here. I think he was throwing like 98 when I saw him. And I was like, oh my God, like I've never heard of this guy. And he's throwing 98 from the left side. It's ridiculous. But he throws a sinker, a sweeper, a changeup, a fastball that tops out at 100, curve. The big thing with him is he's got to work on his command. Like you can see, he's super lanky, like a lot of moving parts here. He's got like a Chris. He literally has like the Chris Sale build. Like he's so skinny. Like he has to wear a belt. Like this is a dude, if he doesn't wear a belt, Doc, his pants are falling down. So like, you don't have, like that's how skinny this dude is if you're not watching on X Vision. But I'm big on this dude. I think he's really good. High school kid. I comped him to Max Fried light. He has like a similar repertoire to Max Fried. But I'm a big fan. What do you think about Dason?
I remember like one point last year I checked in. You got to put some meat on those bones, first of all. I checked in last year and I was like, yeah, things are going great. And I looked back just the other day and I'm like, control command was not really quite there the way you want it to be. Those walks are a little concerning. Do you have any concerns about those?
Yeah, definitely. When I saw him, I don't think he walked anyone. Look at this dude. He's wearing a do-rag. He's trying to pull it.
He's wearing a do-rag? Oh, dude. Yeah, knock him down the ranks.
He's trying to be Dasan instead of Dason here.
He needs to calm down. He's out of his lane.
Yeah, that's it. This is high school video of him.
This is Pete Crow Armstrong.
Yeah, check that out. He's got the do-rag.
Does Pete Crow Armstrong wear a do-rag? He has to.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I'm a fan. I think you can find my video on YouTube if you want to see it. It's like from directly behind home plate from his first start. Next is 106 Cooper Pratt, shortstop with the Brewers. 105 Big Ben Hess with the Yankees, starting pitcher. 104. I had to pick this guy because like nobody talks about him. It is Mitch Bratt. So Mitch Bratt, this guy started in the World Baseball Classic for Team Canada at like the age of 18. Like, what are your people doing here, Doc? You just throw out some 18-year-old kid to like start against USA, and then he gets bombed for like 13 runs, and everyone's like, this guy sucks. And now nobody ever wants to talk about Mitch Bratt again ever since then. Like, what did you do to him, man? What's going on there?
I didn't do anything, man. That's not my guy. But I mean, I like Mitch Bratt. He's just like a super high floor guy. It seems lefty, 6'1", 190. You know, just like a fine, okay build. But has an impeccable command. Love to see these 1 walks per 9. You know,
he's got a good IVB. I threw 60 out of 65 on his fastball. I really like him. From a lefty, there's 98 from the left side with some ridiculous ride on it. He's got a gyro cutter too that I threw a 60 out of 65 on. He's got a sweeper that I threw a 50 out of 55 on, and a changeup that I threw a 40 out of 45 on. And he's got good command too. So I give him a 45 out of 60 on the command. He's got some good command, 242 JA ERA. So there's pitchability here. And yeah, of course, it's going to be fun because of this whole Canada, like 18-year-old thing. Like he's like when he's 40, that's going to be like part of his story, right? But F scores like him 116 stuff, 121 control, 122 FERA. I think he's super rated, or super underrated here for Mitch Bratt.
Yeah, no, I like him a lot too. Actually, I think he's a good, really, like he's going to be almost certainly in an MLB rotation if he keeps this command up. And it's not like he's getting no strikeouts. In fact, his strikeouts ticked up a little last year after getting traded to Arizona. So keep an eye on that.
Yeah, you know what my comp for him is?
What?
I comped him to another prospect. I put this is pre-2025 Robbie Snelling. Get ready. Okay. He's gonna get ready for the Mitch Bratt hype train here.
Yeah, it's a little bit. I can see that from a stat point.
Yeah. All right, next on the list is Trey Gibson at 103, Orioles pitcher, AAA. The Orioles didn't get any of these guys, dude. Everyone's like, oh, the Orioles are going to get Framber. They're going to get someone. Like, they're all gone now except for Gallen, right? Like, everyone's gone.
I guess Gallen, you are an Oriole.
Get
ready to sneak Baltimore.
Or Trey Gibson's just going to have to start the season on the team. I don't know. He played a little bit at AAA and wasn't as good. Last year, he was
Miles Michael. Get ready to speak Miles Michaelis.
Oh no,
from Jupiter, Florida. Why I was in California? No way, dude. That's how tired I am.
Jupiter,
Florida.
I saw his house today. Actually, one of my companies is painting a house like 2 houses down from his. So I actually saw his house today.
Okay, the house is looking good.
Oh yeah.
Was he at the house?
I don't know. I didn't hang out and look for him.
You should have. You should ask him how the market's going.
It was raining today, and I just went there to make sure that the paint wasn't running off and ruining stuff. So
I feel like if you asked him, hey man, how's the market going? He'd be like, oh yeah, just waiting for Gallen and Framber and the good pitchers to go, and then I'll see what's left, and then I'll probably get signed. I feel like he would just say that, you know.
He seems like the type of guy that's either all in Bitcoin or all in silver, and I'm very curious to which one it is.
Yeah, that tracks. You think he's going to pitch again in the major leagues?
No.
You think it's over?
Yeah, I actually heard him on a podcast saying that he wants to go back to Japan.
No, okay, so I think some Japanese outlet ended. Is this something different? Because a Japanese outlet asked him if he if he'd ever go back. And he's like, yeah, I'd love to go there one day. I'd love to go back again. I didn't hear that he was going to end his career there.
I think I heard that on Cardinals territory. That was back when
it's all the same thing. There's no way he was talking that much about it. Otherwise, we would know, and it would be in his write-up, and he'd be taken off Fantrax.
Well, I think he was saying something that he wants to show his kids, what it's like to live there for a season or whatever.
The fact that he hasn't announced that yet, though, makes me think he's trying to go for what I think. If I was him, I'd want to end on a better note instead of getting rushed out of town with a 5 ERA.
Just like we have to end on this podcast on a better note than Miles Michaelis. For 102, I've got Ryan Clifford. Ryan Clifford with the Mets. I'm going to show some stuff here. Ryan Clifford, big time power hitter, super underrated. This guy has really good contact for a power hitter. I'm going to throw some stuff up here. And people forget that he had to spend some time in some really crappy ballparks coming up through the minors too. But he was really good last year. So Ryan Clifford last season had 29 home runs in 139 games. And he plays outfield and first base. He had a little bit of a rough time at AAA. Only 5 bombs there, hit 219. But there's a good chance that after a month, he could be up in the majors contributing to that team, especially because they didn't bring Polar Pete back.
I mean, yeah, he kind of went through a dip. He was peaking in value, then went through a dip, and now he's kind of looking like he could be back again. It's a little similar in terms of just only his hitting profile to Joseph Sullivan, and that you're seeing these pretty ugly batting averages. But his contact rates are fine, and he's taking a lot of walks. So, and he's got a lot of power, even much more power than Sullivan too. So anyway, he got 29 home runs last year. Hard to argue with that. This is a guy who's probably got, upside. Like it's a Matt Olson-y kind of profile, right? Brent, I don't know, guys, but like on the low average year, he's probably never going to hit for a super high average. That's okay. It doesn't matter. Like he'll with the pitchers respecting his power, if it all works out, he'll be able to boost the ratios that way too.
His hit tool is not bad, man. Like
it's like, okay. That's the thing. It's
a 74% contact and an 88% zone contact.
But last year it was worse. Like, 2024 it was in the 60s. So we'll see who he is.
Yeah, definite improvements. 107.4 90th EV. So really good EVs, a good air pull, almost 20% air pull. So, and 12% barrel rate. So this dude is a tank. I expect good things, and I expect them soon for Ryan Clifford. We're going to close out at 101, a guy that you picked. Probably most people have him in the top 100, and I tried to get him in there, but I just liked too many guys. But we got Caden Scarborough here, 101, the final of your Magnificent Seven, starting pitcher with the Rangers. Go ahead, Doc.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm like such a bad, like I keep telling people, oh yeah, I'm pretty much like a kind of a quasi Rangers fan, but like I'm really bad at like liking their prospects for some reason. Like I'm like way more in tune with like Royals and Cardinals. Anyway, but he's just like someone you look at his numbers from this past year and you're like, well, this looks amazing. You've got amazing command, 2 walks per 9 to 11 strikeouts per 9. And actually, his numbers got better at high A toward the end of the year, which, again, things you like to see. Back in the baseball card on the year, you had on the year, it was a 2.45 ERA and a 0.875 whip, so 0.88 whip if you like to round out a little cleaner than that. He gave us 88 innings. He was 20. He's still 20, so he'll be 21 on April 1st. That's pretty nice for baseball. Like he's just going to be that age for the whole season, basically. After that point, he's around opening day every year. So anyway, I like him. Yeah, I feel like I wanted to talk about him because I basically have never talked about him, and I feel kind of depressed about it because now his value is too high. I have no shares of him, so hopefully he messes up a little bit here. Hopefully he stumbles a little bit so I can buy in. People forget about him because this is the kind of guy he popped up. If he messes up for half a season, everyone will forget about him.
Yeah, good point. He's far enough away that can happen. But F scores really love him. 115 F stuff, 124 F control, 108 F ERA. And just like pretty much all these prospects nowadays, tops out at 100 on the fastball. Of course, because everyone wants to hit 100 one time, so they do it. And then they're like, look, I top out at 100 before. Rah! Yeah. It's like, where do you sit, dude?
Sits at 92.
Yeah, he's like mid-90s is where he sits. But he's got his best pitch is the sweeper. I think it was 70 grade on that pitch. Then he's got to change up a curve. My comp for him is Joe Ryan and Shohei Ohtani as a pitcher mash is the comp that I threw on him. But yeah, I'm a big fan. I just like a bunch of other dudes better. You got Carlos there now.
You got other podcasters on our podcast.
Yeah, it's the commercial. It's just but YouTube ends and goes straight.
We should just start listening to other podcasts and just like make fun of their podcasts on our podcast.
That should happen on our podcast. Oh yeah, there we go. We could just roast other podcasts.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just completely gutless.
All right. Well, you got anything else before we end this bad boy? Because I've got to go jump on Toolshed.
Oh yeah, shoot, you gotta go do that. I was gonna say Scarborough. He used to play basketball, so he's one of those two-way guys. He's focusing on one thing. Not two-way. He's doing a different sport. Two sport guys. He's focusing on one sport, which is even better. So and it's a better sport, and so he'll do all right. I think you gotta get in if you can.
Yeah, for sure. That's what she said. So go ahead and subscribe to MLB Data Warehouse with that. And also make sure you follow Doc at Doc Eisenhower. Follow me at Fantasy Aceball and purchase the Prospect Warehouse pod. That's the only, or the Prospect Warehouse pod. Purchase the Prospect Warehouse or the Prospect package so that you can get all your draft cheat sheets. Makes your draft nice and easy peasy. So make sure you get that. Carlos Estevez is nowhere to be found. We found out that that's the one guy that I guess John didn't have a code for out of all the player IDs. So there's no Carlos Estevez, but you don't want him anyway because he sucks. So that's cool. We'll see you next time. Peace out, everybody.